What is a bank? A bank sounds like one of those things adults pretend is simple while secretly feeling stressed every time they log into their account.
Banks seem simple. You put money in, you take money out. But every time I see a maintenance fee, I start questioning the entire relationship.
Someone says, just put it in the bank, and everyone nods as if banks are magical buildings where money quietly grows. Reality is often a little different. You might find yourself wondering, why is there a maintenance fee just for existing? It is a fair question. Banks seem simple on the surface. You deposit money, you withdraw money, then you continue with your life. But banks actually do far more than most people realize.
A bank is basically a building full of numbers we can't physically see. And somehow, we've all agreed to trust this. Honestly, impressive.
Somehow, they have convinced billions of people to trust buildings that mostly store numbers instead of physical cash. That is honestly impressive. The original problem. Long ago, people faced a simple challenge. If you own money, gold, or other valuables, where could you keep them safely? Under your bed? Risky. Buried in your backyard? Also risky. Carrying everything in your pocket? Very uncomfortable if your savings happened to be gold coins. People needed safe places to store their wealth. That is where early banks became important. Merchants and wealthy individuals deposited money with trusted institutions that protected it for a fee. Apparently, financial services discovered billing very early in history.
Long ago, people had a problem. Where do you keep gold? Under your bed? Risky. In your backyard? Also risky. In your pocket? Very uncomfortable.
What does a bank actually do? At its core, a bank is a financial institution that stores money and provides financial services. That sounds simple, but those services include keeping deposits safe, allowing withdrawals, processing payments, providing loans, issuing debit cards, offering savings accounts, handling transfers, and supporting businesses. Banks act as financial middlemen. They help money move safely through the economy. Without banks, paying rent would become much more difficult, and carrying large amounts of cash everywhere would feel like the plot of a bad action movie. Deposits. When you deposit money into a bank, it is stored in your account. Your balance appears digitally, and you can withdraw it later, use it for purchases, transfer it to someone else, or admire it briefly before paying your bills. Banks usually offer different types of deposit accounts, including savings accounts and checking accounts. Those are separate topics because banking enjoys creating multiple versions of very similar products.
What does a bank actually do? Stores money, processes payments, gives loans, offers accounts. Basically a financial middleman. Very useful, occasionally annoying.
Loans. This is one of the main ways banks earn money. They lend money to individuals and businesses for things like homes, cars, education, personal expenses, and business growth. The bank charges interest on those loans, and that interest becomes part of its income. In other words, some of the money sitting in your account may help finance someone else's home or business. Modern finance is essentially organized money sharing with a great deal of paperwork.
Early banks became trusted places to store wealth for a fee. Of course, because charging people for safety is a very old business model.
Digital payments. Banks also make modern payments possible. They support debit cards, credit cards, online banking, mobile banking apps, bank transfers, automatic bill payments, and international money transfers. Most of this happens quietly behind the scenes. Without banks, buying something online would become much more complicated, and online shopping is already dangerous enough for anyone with poor self-control.
If you are learning how banks actually work and thinking I should actually understand where my money goes, hit subscribe. Unlike a maintenance fee, this decision won't leave you confused.
Business banking. Banks do not only serve individuals. Businesses also depend on them for accounts, loans, payroll systems, payment processing, business credit, and international transactions. Large companies move enormous amounts of money through banks every day, which is remarkable considering some people still forget simple passwords. Are banks completely safe? Banks are heavily regulated in most countries and must follow financial laws. Many governments also protect customer deposits through deposit insurance programs. Even so, banks still face risks such as poor management, economic downturns, fraud, and cyber attacks. Unfortunately, criminals understand money just as well as everyone else.
Subscribe if you want more videos that explain financial institutions without boring corporate speak. I'll keep the jokes coming. Your bank account might grow. Your confusion definitely will not.
Traditional banks versus digital banks. Traditional banks have physical branches where customers can speak with staff, complete paperwork, and occasionally spend time waiting in line. Digital banks operate mainly through websites and mobile apps, making banking faster and more convenient without requiring branch visits. Final thought. A bank is a financial institution that stores money, helps people make payments, provides loans, and supports the economy. Your salary, your savings, your bills, your loans, and even your online shopping all pass through banks in one way or another. Humanity created banks to protect money and keep economies running. Most of us simply interact with them by checking our account balance after buying something we probably did not need.
I'm gonna charge you monthly maintenance fee if you don't subscribe. That would be cruel and also not how YouTube works. But I will judge your next. I'll just check my balance decision.